Well, would you look at that? It's new episode day. Hi there. Thank you for pressing play on 15 Minutes with Fuzz. My name is Fuzz Martin. I'm the host of this short weekly show that shines a big old spotlight on positive things happening in our community. And that community is Washington County, Wisconsin. Thank you for coming along with me. This week, we're talking about a program that affects all of Washington County. It's the brand new Heart and Homestead program through Washington County and Economic Development Washington County, the EDWC, and that will help get would-be homebuyers into their homes easier. It's an innovative program that is going to change some people's lives in a good way. And with that, here are County Executive Josh Schoemann and Community Development Director Deb Sielski to talk about the Heart and Homestead program right here on 15 Minutes with Fuzz. Deb, Josh, thank you so much for coming in to 15 Minutes with Fuzz today to talk about the Heart and Homestead program. Can we first talk about what the state of the housing and home buying is here in Washington County?
Oh, the state of housing in Washington County. I've never given that speech. It's pretty tough. Starter homes in particular. We refer to it oftentimes as the missing middle. It's not the high-end homes that are a problem. It's not the beginning of rentals that are the problem. There's rentals going up everywhere. It's really that starter home of yesteryear. So when you think about a quarter-acre lot and a 1,100 square feet, that's the kind of thing that's missing today. And I pretty regularly look at Realtor.com for the last couple of years, and I don't think there's been any time in the last 2 years on one day where there's more than a couple dozen homes total for sale in all of Washington County below $300,000.
Wow, okay.
So it's pretty tight.
Yeah, and so this has been a problem for a few years now, but it seems to be getting tighter, right?
Yeah, it really has. We started this conversation really probably in 2021, and I kind of identified the issue in 2019 before I ran for county executive, and it's just gotten progressively more difficult, and I'd say the pressure has just continued to increase, especially on young millennials and Gen Z that are wanting now for the first time to get into the housing market. They seem to be the ones primarily who are pinched out.
Sure. Right now with interest rates and such, what is the typical, first of all, the median cost of a home here in Washington County, and then what are the payments on something like that?
Oh, yeah. The median cost right now is about $356,000.
Okay.
So you're looking at about, maybe about $2,000 a month. And unfortunately, a lot of the younger generation are looking at rentals that are about that much per month. So it's very difficult for them to be able to save up for a down payment.
Yeah, and to have that kind of family nest egg that you get when you have a home and start making payments toward it and have something that you can move on from hopefully in the future, it's really important. So to that end, there are two programs going on in the county. There's the Next Generation Housing Program, which has been around for a little bit and people have heard about. And then the new program here called the Heart and Homestead Program. Could you guys tell us what that's about?
Sure. So the Next Generation Housing Program is really working with municipalities and trying to build those homes of yesteryear. Kind of when people think of post-World War II, that salt box house on a little lot, that's what we're trying to recreate, or at least get something close to it, modern day version. And then Heart and Homestead.
Yeah, the Heart and Homestead program allows individuals to get that down payment. So as I said, many individuals are really having a hard time accumulating the wealth for a down payment. So what this program does is it provides up to 10% or $20,000 for a down payment for a home.
Okay, so very good. So this program, the Heart and Homestead Program, gives you that incentive to buy up to $20,000 or up to 10% of the home if you can find a home under $200,000 in Washington County. But they don't just receive it, right? There's something to it. How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's actually an earned program. So at your close of the home, you'll receive a check for up to $20,000. And then you have 5 years to be able to earn those funds, either through financial giving or through volunteering with one of our partnering agencies. So you get $25 for every hour that you volunteer, or for every dollar that you donate, you earn 70 cents. So you have 5 years to be able to earn that $20,000. Now, let's say after the course of 5 years that you still have some unearned balance. That is just paid back, and it's tied through a mortgage, usually a secondary mortgage, and that's just paid back when you sell the house.
This program then again is designed to help people get into these homes. Is it also with that, and if I'm wrong, please tell me, but does that help with the PMI insurance too on homes? Like if you get to that 20% that you need to get?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the $20,000 will definitely help those individuals that don't have that 20% down. I know that some banks are allowing mortgages at 5%, and this will certainly help get to that point. But typically when you're looking for a home, you've probably been thinking about this for a few years, so you have some saved, but maybe not up to that 20%, and this will definitely help you get there.
All right, very good. I know, when I first bought a home, and maybe both of you experienced this as well, where you didn't necessarily have 20%, so paying that extra PMI insurance, I don't think it was like $150 a month to pay for that until you got to that 20% was another big cost to bear that wasn't going into the principal of the loan. So what kind of homes and price ranges qualify for those who are looking at this? Do they have to be under a certain amount?
Yeah, they do. They need to be under $420,000. It needs to be a home in Washington County, and the home needs to be owner occupied. So what that means is that the individuals that are getting the $20,000 incentive, they need to actually have that as their primary residence.
And is this open to people that only currently live in Washington County, or to people from outside the county as well?
It is open to anyone who is interested in living and working in Washington County.
All right, very good. So we talked a little bit about the community service, that volunteering with nonprofits and that charitable giving. What are some of the nonprofits that you're working with, or who is on that list that people can work with?
So if they're in Washington County and they can hear us talking right now, we're interested in working together.
Okay.
We've had some really early participants that are interested, that have been working closely with us, but we really want this to be something that's for all of the community to participate in, and to give people an opportunity to give back. And that word opportunity, I think, is the lead, and maybe we buried it a little bit. This is all about giving individuals the opportunity to own and earn the American dream, right? And to earn it back. So if you think about post-World War II America, the vets come back from World War II, and they get these VA loans and all these small homes, Levittown, USA, if you remember all that stuff. This is kind of that in the inverse. There's no World War II anymore. Now they can't earn it first and get it second. So this is kind of the inverse. You get the down payment incentive first, and then you earn it back through giving back to participants. And we want that to be a wide-ranging group of people. I'd also point to the name itself, the Heart and Homestead program. It's a really creative name. I can't remember exactly who came up with it. It's just fantastic. But Homestead, I thought, was really kind of neat because it draws back to the Homestead Act of late 1862. And what's cool about the Homestead Act is that was an initiative by President Lincoln right at the beginning of the Civil War, and it lasted until the 1970s. And of course, remember at that time, the North and the South split right around 1862. And President Lincoln creates this program. And you just got to hear, this is really interesting. Here's some of the requirements of the program. Requirements include 5 years of continuous residence on the land. Sounds similar. Building a home on it. Sounds similar. Farming the land and making improvements. You can't farm in most of our municipalities, but okay. Homesteaders who had to be head of a household or 21 years of age, had to certify they were never bore arms against the United States for reasons we know in 1862. They needed neighbors to attest that they had fulfilled the requirements. And Union soldiers could shave off time served in the Civil War from their 5-year residency requirement.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So a very, very similar concept to, 1860s. What is that? Almost 160 some years ago, that we're trying to apply today in a way that makes sense in modern times.
So with the giving back in that way, how does the county track that? Is it through the nonprofit themselves? How does that work?
Yeah, and I just wanted to point out too that everyone that's living in the household is able to donate their time as well. So let's say, for instance, that, there is a couple and their young child that is doing some donation work through a event that are required for a high school, all 3 of those individuals would be eligible for earning that time, that $25 per hour. So what happens is that once they have earned that time, then they would go into the county portal. It's an earnings portal. It's very simple to use. You will have a separate account. You get in there. There'll be areas that they'll be able to click on for each one of the entities that they've donated for. They enter the name, then enter their hours, and then click send. And that email actually goes to the nonprofit agency that is able to review those hours and then approve them. And then an email gets kicked back to the county, and we're able to track exactly how many hours and financial donations that each one of the recipients have made. And then twice a year, we'll be sending out reports to each one of the recipients, and so they can see exactly where they are in their earnings over the course of that 5-year period.
Obviously the nonprofit benefits from having that volunteer work or those donations made, but what are some other benefits beyond that volunteerism and charitable giving that come into our community with this program?
Yeah, thanks for asking that, because it's an important point, and I think sometimes it gets lost in the mix of how complicated a program like this can be. It's a government program. But I think what's most compelling about the program is it gives people an opportunity not just to live here, but to invest in the community and build roots in the community, right? Anytime you're participating, and I know, Fuzz, you have in many ways participated in local nonprofits or chamber boards or village boards or 100 things, you're meeting people, you're establishing relationships, you're starting to really build what I refer to as social capital, right? And I think that's what's the coolest part about places like Washington County and Wisconsin is that when hard times hit, you cash in on that social capital. People help one another just because they know one another and care about each other. And I think it's really cool that this program will allow the opportunity for people to give to nonprofits, but also build roots in this community where we can give back to them. And it's neighbor helping neighbor. I mean, you look at, somebody gets this program in your neighborhood who lives next door to you, and it's not just like, oh, they got a freebie. No, they're giving back to you in some way, shape, or form and helping holistically our community. And I mean, hard to beat that.
Yeah. Yeah. And having strong nonprofits and strong community programs like this build a strong sense of community and a sense of kind of that pride of ownership in your own area, right?
Yeah, that's exactly. I refer to it as the cycle of prosperity. Prosperous families in prosperous business equal prosperous community, and they all feed off of one another. There's no one that's successful without the other, and this really just helps to kind of give that some rocket fuel.
Excellent. When can people start taking advantage of this program? Is this available now?
It's not quite yet.
Okay.
We will be launching the program at noon on April 4th. So you'll be able to go to the county website, and there will be at noon on April 4th, there will be an Apply Now button, and that will actually link you to the Economic Development Washington County application portal, where they'll be able to apply. It's a $100 fee for the application.
Okay. And what other resources or support will be available to those homebuyers who are in the process of trying to participate in the Heart and Homestead program?
We're partnering with the Economic Development Washington County, and they're our main resource for individuals that are interested in participating in this program. We are actually going to be doing some online how-to videos for individuals, but EDWC is going to be a great resource to helping those individuals through the application process.
All right, very good. And kind of starting to wrap this up, how do you plan to promote and raise awareness for the Heart and Homestead program within Washington County and those who want to move to the county?
We're going to be starting a marketing campaign starting in a couple of weeks that will just talk about what the Heart and Homestead program is, and then there'll be opportunities for more information on the county website.
So I'm more worried about being victims of our own success.
Okay.
Because every time we talk about the program, people get super interested.
Yeah.
And, everybody's got a niece or a nephew or a grandson or a daughter that's kind of struggling right now. And they're like, where do I get more information? How do I do this? So, we're starting this marketing campaign, but I don't think it's going to take long. We have enough money for, I think, just under 100 loans.
Sure.
And we're a little nervous that we're going to be out before the 4th of July. So.
Sure, yeah.
Maybe before that.
Yeah. So get in early on April 4th and make sure you start signing up, right?
That's exactly.
Kind of like going to Disney. You got to just kind of like wake up. And you said it's at noon on April 4th, right?
Noon on April 4th.
Yeah. I remember when we were going on a Disney trip, like my wife had to get up at 4:45 to book our restaurants for 3 months from then.
Yeah, exactly. I think we have a countdown clock and stuff like that.
Yeah, we will have a countdown clock, yeah.
All right.
We haven't got it out there yet.
Well, I mean, that attests to the fact that this is a very innovative program that's really going to help people, and people are going to want to take advantage of that because they need the help right now, right?
Right. That's exactly. I mean, there are different types of programs across the country. The state of Florida has one they call Hometown Heroes program. It's basically, if you work in a number of public service type jobs, you automatically qualify for something similar to this. But this is the first of its kind since 1862, where you're really earning it back, or you have the opportunity to earn it back, and then build roots in a community and have that community invest in you.
Well, I appreciate you both coming in here today. Kind of last minute notice. I had sent an email and we got it figured out. So I really appreciate the short notice, and really look forward to seeing how this affects our Washington County communities and how people take advantage of this. And hopefully we can get more people in homes that are looking to move here and raise families or right size their home for them. So thank you both.
Well, thank you.
Well, thanks for having us. And, my hope over time is that this becomes a program that, yes, county government is one that can help facilitate and make it work, but we simply create the environment, and we want businesses to join in and contribute and dollars to help us proliferate this, and hopefully more and more volunteer nonprofit organizations that are interested in giving people a chance to earn it back.
Thank you again, and keep your eyes on Washington County social media, I assume, and then also the website, right, to find more information.
You nailed it. At Washco Wisco.
All right, very good. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you again to Washington County Executive Josh Schoemann and Community Development Director Deb Sielski for joining me on this week's episode of 15 Minutes with Fuzz. Again, you'll be able to find more information about the Heart and Homestead Down Payment Incentive Program on the county's website very soon. If you ever have an idea for an episode of 15 Minutes with Fuzz, please reach out. You can email me 15withfuzz@gmail.com. Just be sure to spell out the word 15 15withfuzz@gmail.com, or use the form fuzz.cc/guest. That's fuzz.cc/guest. We'll give you a nice little form you can fill out and hit send, and it comes right to me. New episodes drop on Tuesdays. You can hear them all on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and now on YouTube. And I'll talk to you again real soon, right here on 15 Minutes with Fuzz.